Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another episode of Little Modular. Today we will look at this elegant filter, FET VCF by Feedback Modules. If you have seen my previous videos, you have probably stumbled upon one of those. I have talked about a few other filters by Feedback Modules, high fusion, low fusion. These are all really nice and special to me, and you can check them out below in the video description. I have added some links to those, but today this is the star. Now, before we dive into it, let me clarify something here. Although it is a filter technically, practically it is a sound design tool, because it is something in between a filter, a low-pass gate, and a distortion unit. It is inspired by the legendary Buchla low-pass gate module, but it is not using Vactrols like the original one. This is using OptoFETs, and it reacts differently. You can go into this bongo-ish area, but it's more like a filter distortion stuff, and it sounds really, really nice, really unique, and it has some cool features that I will show you in a second. Let's start with the front panel. As usual, it has the similar layout to the high fusion and all the other filters from Feedback Modules. So we have the input here, then we have the gain, which allows for some nice saturation when cranked up. We also have the frequency and resonance controls right here, both of which could be controlled with the dedicated CV inputs. We also have a second frequency knob right here and a frequency CV, and this one is dedicated to some FM patches. Below we have the output, and we also have the 2-pole and 4-pole modes switchable down here. And that's about it. This module can self-oscillate, and once you engage the self-oscillation, you can control it in a really precise way. And I'll get back to this in a second. But for now, let's check it out on the standard wave shapes. Let me just add one more thing. It's not a clean filter. It's always a bit dirty. It's full of character. So if you are looking for a clean and transparent filter, go look elsewhere. This is a dirty one. Having said that, here goes the sine wave from Rubicon. You can still hear that it's not a pure sine wave. It adds a bit of harmonic content to it. And once we go past 2 o'clock, it has this prominent point of breakup, sort of, so we can hear it distorting. Here goes the triangle wave with some resonance. Okay. And you can really beef it up and just destroy it with the gain and resonance. Really interesting. Now let's go for the sawtooth. Fully open. It has this point when it kind of stops and then it goes a bit forward. It's not fluid, like around here. Can you hear it? It goes a bit lower and then it grabs the signal again. A crossover point around 12:30 here. Let's introduce some resonance. More resonance. Four-pole. 2-pole again. As I said, it can scream. Now we can distort it. So as you can hear, lots of different timbres here. Lots of distortion and hair. A bit lower. Now I would like to discuss the self-oscillating aspect of the filter. Let's put it into self-oscillation, shall we? Now the cool thing is that you can really fine-tune it. This is very, very precise, and you can actually play melodies with it. So I have this CV of the Seek sequencer, and as you can hear, it tracks really well. What I can do now is, for instance, I can play the original sequence with the oscillator, which is again Rubicon, through my Mix 3 module, and then it is triggered by mats, and this is how it sounds like. And let's make the filter self-oscillate. And let's duplicate the CV information that's going to Rubicon and now to the frequency. And you can fine-tune it. This is what I meant when I said it is more of a sound design tool than a filter. Now we can of course introduce some FM. For instance, I have my DPO sticked in here, and with this knob we are controlling the depth of the modulation. So we are talking distortion, FM, and even self-oscillation. Not to mention that you can, of course, also modulate the resonance. So it's super colorful, as you can hear. Lots of different tones. It's a really cheap filter like all the others from feedback modules, and you would think that it's nothing special, but oh boy, you would be so wrong. It's a Buchla inspired filter, so what about those freaking bongos? Well, you can have them, but obviously they won't sound like Buchla. That's because of the lack of the Vactrals. We have the Optofets, it sounds different, but you can get those bongo-ish sounds. So it's in the self-oscillation mode. The trigger is courtesy of Ericsson's drum sequencer. All of that again goes to the Mix 3, and Mats is controlling the raw analog CVN. This is how it sounds like. You can hear that you can change the pitch of the bongos up to a certain point. I found it that if you experiment with the in and the frequency ins, sticking the same trigger into them, you can get some more bongos flavors. Now it has like 2 layers. We can, for instance, stick the same trigger to the resonance, and here it goes. Sounds like a kick to me. Pretty nice one, actually. Or some toms. Really nice clicky, punchy kick, if you ask me. This one actually sounds really nice. It's not like Buchla, but it reminds me of Surge, which I used to have, and it does sound like the variable Q filter, as far as I remember. Really nice sound, vivid, clear, and punchy. Now, one more application I love this with is percussion sounds, because when you drive it into distortion, it kind of acts like the other modules from the same company that replicate those famous mixers channel strips from the 70s and 80s. I'm talking about the Boss mixers and the Mackie CR series. I have also reviewed those on my channel, so check it out, and let's hear how it sounds like with the kick. Now, when you drive it, you can hear this really nice hairy sound. That's how it sounds in the 2-pole mode. That's with the 4-pole mode, more aggressive. Now we can of course inflict the high resonance stuff. As you can hear, I can introduce some crunchiness to it when I set the resonance around 3 o'clock. So now it's just before self-oscillation. Of course, we can use the self-oscillation to our advantage. As you can hear, nice crunchy stuff. So plenty of sounds in the percussive realm with this filter also. That's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you found that video useful, if you liked it, please subscribe, please like, and spread the good word. Bye bye, take care, I'll see you next time.